All right. Okay, now that you have the structure of your project kind of in view, let's look at the methods. So let's go ahead and go to this folder down here, and this is where you'll get some help. All right, in here you have a project outline. This is just a sample, and you'll know if I click on this, and you'll see that it basically has a slide with a title, and each of the different questions from the example. So I basically copied and pasted these 5 items here into an outline. So identify a question. This is main idea question. Predict the outcome hypothesis. Here is your data collection: observation, survey, action, research, whatever you use. It says must have numbers, 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 numbers. In the next slide, I need to see the review of your data findings. I need to see what it looks like. I want to know what your data, if you could create a picture of it, what would it look like? And then finally, your conclusion. Okay, so in this folder you have that outline. Yeah, you can copy and paste this outline and then, of course, rename it. And that would be a great start. Okay, so if you just don't have an idea of how you want to start it out, that's what I would do. Okay, the next piece is formulating your data. So this is what I used. I used a Google Sheet, and this is basically a spreadsheet. Okay, so in the spreadsheet you have basically numbers, just crunched numbers. Okay, and then of course there are graphs that have been created from those numbers, and this is basically some hypothetical football attendance numbers, crunched and made into graphs. So you'll see there's a number of different graphs that were created. Now to make graphs, it's very simple. You just take a snapshot of your information, select it, okay, and then insert and connect with chart. So once you hit chart, it will actually make a graph. It'll pop up right there, and it usually suggests a chart that best fits that information. Now you can change that into a pie chart. You can see it's listed. It lists percentages, and this is a linear chart or a bar chart, and you can see there's your highs and your lows, all basically singling out. Now you can take and copy and paste these right into your PowerPoints. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to take charts that I've already created. So it's important that you select the information, for example, in a certain way, that the chart creator, the chart maker, as it's trying to figure out what you want to do with it, can put that information into a usable form. I also have another list over here. It's buried in charts. I'm going to move these over right here. And these are graduation rates. This is just another form of the chart made into graduation rates. And you can copy and paste these if you want. You can actually take that, select here. I can select these and move it. Let's see how I can select that group there and just move it around. I thought I could select and now this is anyway. So you can copy and paste these number charts, and you should be able to. Here, let me go ahead and copy. Here, hit copy, and then you can move it. Say I want to move this like over. Here, I have to select. Well, in the case of this type of thing, you'd have to basically look at how many numbers. Let's see, it's 2 columns by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'd have to do that. I'd have to move it. Let's see, so 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, something like that. And then I'd paste it. Let's go ahead and paste. That just moved it over. That's interesting. That just overlapped it. Here, let me just backspace out of that, get rid of that. All right. So these have all been formatted, and here, let me just Z out of there. Let's see if I can Z out of there. It won't let me. Z. Anyway, all right, that slipped. All right, so there's a good help right there. I just Control Z'd my last couple of inputs. All right. So anyways, these numbers are reflective of how the chart basically puts it down. This is basically a simple formula, and you can see the formula is above here. It says sum D11 to D17. So it's adding those numbers from cell D11 to D17, and then it adds it down here and gives us a total. This one here is another one. It's called average. And now these words here come from a list of pre-made formulas right there where it says functions. You can get it to sum, average, count, maximum number, minimum number, and then there's all kinds of other different things. There's all kinds of mathematical functions because it's literally a math program. It's a number crunching program. All right, so when you find out how you want to arrange your numbers, once you've collected your information, you have to basically put them into your project. Okay, so these are different ways. This is a vertical alignment, and this is a horizontal alignment. You can see I actually added the high and the low. So this is actually calculating. If you look at the max, it's looking at this number list, and it's picking out the highest number. And this one is looking at the same list, and it's picking out the lowest number. And you'll see in the example that I have how that reflects the project. So I'm going to go back to the sample right here. This is Goebel Data 2018. And this is a sample project put together. And I've added some graphics to it. For example, since it's about football, I've added a logo and I've added a student picture. And then here's my question. And if I wanted to change the font or make it, a little bit, let's do that. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit bigger since I got more space, right? Make it legible. This is okay. I guess you can pretty much read this, right? Sometimes you got to be careful when you write something and how it reflects on the photograph that you put it over. Predict the outcome. So this is my question, and this is my prediction, okay? Then I have my data collection. So here is my list, and this is actually the same chart. If you go back to here, it's the exact same one. I've just copied it. So what I did was I did this. I went right there. I copied the stuff that I wanted in the PowerPoint, okay? And I went and copied it, and then I went back. I'll go back over, and you literally can. I choose a place where it can just set it down. Control V. It'll paste. Now it asks you to link it or not link it. I suggest you link it because it's kind of fun to have. If you go back into your data sheet, you literally can change those numbers, and since they're linked, it will change your graph. It really makes it nice. I always like to paste it linked. So I hit paste, and there it is. There's my numbers, okay? And they're linked. Now this one is different because it has the average and total, where this one doesn't. Okay, and then I have attendance spelt wrong, so if you want to here we go, we correct that. So if I wanted to use this new list and I want to get rid of my old list, I can do that. So I'm just going to Control X and get rid of that. Let's see if I can select it one more time. And there it is, and I'm going to take my new list and I'm going to bring it down and replace it. Okay, now these charts here reflect. Now I can move this around too if it's kind of out of whack here with my format. So these charts here reflect this information, and it will update every time you load the page. So I'm going to change the Pineview numbers to, let's see, 2200. And if I go out of it and then I go back into it, let's see if it, anytime you do an update to your information, it's supposedly, here, let me escape out of that. Pineview, oh, see, this number has not changed here. Here, let me do this, because it's linked to this one. So let me change, this was 2200, 200, right there. Now I'm going to see, now, did you notice all these charts changed right here? Did you notice that the Pineview number now is bigger than the Dixie number? And if you look at the high and the low, are reflective now. The 2200 is higher, so this now goes above 2000. And let's look at this pie chart. Now, let's see. Prime view is reflective of. Now, this did not update. This pie chart didn't update. Let's see if that one did. Yeah, this one did. This is an older pie chart. Let me get rid of that one. Let me delete that one. Now, this one is connected to that information. So anything I type in here and then I make a chart of later is linked. So all these graphs here are linked by at the hip to this information over here that I've moved into my PowerPoint. So let's go back over to the PowerPoint. And you notice this, all these say update. Okay, so I'm going to push update. It'll update that to 2200. I'm going to push that update, and that'll update that chart, and that one updates, and that just shows you how that works. Plus, I got to hit that and make the word attendance correct. There we go. Okay, so now my charts reflect the data that was collected over here. Now I'm not going to use this sheet for anything. All I'm doing is organizing things with it. The thing I'm presenting is over here. This is my final charts and graphs. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is actually some other stuff that was linked. Do you notice that it says update? Hit update. Okay, and then I'm going to click over here and hit this update, and you can see that both those charts and graphs that were connected to the previous ones are now all aligned, which is kind of nice. And there's my conclusion. So that's pretty much it. Now, of course, I can pretty this up. I can, work with fonts and mess around with my the size of text and things like that. But everything I have and that the project requires is in there. All 5 components. Okay. 1, identify a sociological question. 2, predict the outcome. 3, collect data, graph the results. 4, 3 and 4, collect data and graph the results. And then 5, write a conclusion. Now, this is all extra. When I added the pictures, now I can go ahead and I can bring in some really cool graphics to make it more fun. For example, if I want to change the background, I right-click it, go to, let's see, change background. Now I'm going to go choose an image. I'm going to go onto my computer and find another cool football image that I have on here. Let me see if I can find another one of the field. I have a really cool one here. Let's put here. Let me see if I can find that one really quick. It's in here. That's a school picture. Let's see if I can find the field picture. If I can't really quick, I'll just put the school picture in. Sometimes I find them quick and sometimes I don't. That's the student body. That is an attendance one, so let's go ahead and oh, there we go. There's the school picture. Okay, there we go. Bang. All right, so this one will load in there. Hit done. There we go. Okay, now look what happened to my text. I'm like, all right, I got this beautiful picture of the football field and football attendance, and now I can't read anything, so I need to change that. So make sure you do that. This is just not it's not legible. Okay, it's not readable. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change that really quick. I'm going to go ahead. There's my concluding stuff, and I'm going to change that font there. Well, no, that's sorry. I highlighted it. Sometimes you can highlight it. That's one way of doing it. Here, let me get rid of the highlights. You can make it transparent and then go to here. I got to select it. I'm going to undo that. It's right there. Select my text. Take the highlight off. And I want to go ahead and turn it back into, I want to change the text to white. Oops, no, I keep highlighting it. What am I doing here? Hold on here. There we go, like that. Let's get this off, transparent. And then I want to change this to white. There we go. Now my text is white. And I might want to thicken it a little bit just to make it easier. Once again, there's and maybe like a little bit bigger. I can, increase the size of the font. There's all kinds of ways that you can make it more legible. Anytime you go over something like this, you can see up here is very difficult to read. I'm going to probably do the same thing with this one. I'm going to change it. I'm going to get rid of. I'm going to make it transparent, and I'm going to make it white. And there it is, easier to read. Okay. And then once again, I can also change the size. I could do drop shadows, I think, on it. Let me see if I can do a drop shadow now, so I gotta mess with that. Yeah, format options. I can put a shadow, so I'll put a drop shadow on there. It's black, okay? And I think it's already on there. And there's a transparency. Yeah, let's make it dark. I want a dark drop shadow. Let's make it less transparent. Yeah, the moving it left makes it darker. There we go. And that gives it a kind of a 3D effect. That also makes it stand out. Let's do the same thing with this font right here. Let's add a drop shadow to it. Now I have to go into that specific. Ooh, I've got some other text in there that I got to get rid of too. So I'm going to go back to format. And we're going to add a drop shadow to that text as well, which is nice and cool. And then maybe bring it a little bit bigger. So there it is, even better to read. Now there's something in there. See right there? I can't even see that. Okay, so this is some other, this is our more of our concluding arguments. So I've got to recognize that font there. Let's go ahead and turn that off there, and let's make that readable or legible. It's right there. There we go. How do games between rival teams in Washington County compare in attendance? Okay, that's just a restatement of the theme. And I would probably put this up and replace what's up top there, where it says write a conclusion. I might, since this is more important than this, I might take all these titles and I might make them very small. Put these up top there and hide them like this. Now there's all kinds of ways, like I say, remember, what's the purpose of what you're doing? Now this is just for me. This is actually for this would be for the person you're addressing the question to. And of course, that's the most important part. There we go. Anyway. So there you go. And of course, I can move these graphics around to make it a little bit easier. Right there. All right. Drag that out a little bit. And I'll just call it quits here in just a second. I want to highlight that one more time. See if I can, it keeps wanting to pick up that, there we go. It keeps wanting to pick up that other, so let's go bold on that. That's good right there. All right. How do games between rival teams in Washington County compare in attendance? Okay, now you can see this is a very busy slide, so I would suggest that you might even put a background on there. I could put a translucent background. There's a lot of options I have, but remember, what's the purpose of the project? And there's ways to make it less busy by changing the graphics. So be understanding that people need to read this, and the purpose of it is not to show the artwork, it's to show the idea. All right, so there it is, guys. Be creative, have fun with this, but remember, finish. The purpose of it is to get information, get it to where you want it to go, and complete it. All right, thank you, hope this helped. Later and bye.